just go to the light. And now you can see, oh, yeah, now you can see the beautiful view. Well, I just wanted to share something that happened to me while doing the invocations of Venus. And invocation of Venus is basically to light a candle to Venus or to have a small altar to Venus. I'm on a Venus perfected year. Um, and for those of you who do not know what perfections are, then you can YouTube that. It is a traditional astrology Time Lord technique where every year is ruled by a different planet according to your age, and this is from birthday to birthday or from solar return to solar return. So last week I was doing my Venus invocation and I was just putting on some, let's see if I can sit on this one. I was just putting on some jewelries to Venus and my paintings without thinking of asking of anything in return. It's just like when, an altar is like when you like somebody, you give them something. So you give them something that they like. And I wasn't thinking about, myself or asking things for myself. Now, Venus was opposition in Saturn. And on that day, I just published one of my paintings, which is like a sketch, on Instagram. And strangely enough, I had a lot of jewelry. It was fake jewelry companies that were trying to scheme me for my money, pretending that they want me to be their ambassador. And it was funny because I didn't get any of this. It was just on that day and it never lasted. It was just on that day, on that post. Um, and I found that funny. um, and it was like a Venus opposition Saturn. So there was like something that was blocking or something that was not causing it to be. But I found it funny that those were jewelry, fake jewelry companies, and I put jewelries on the altar. And they were replying a painting post that I did, and I was putting paintings on the altar. So that was very strange. And today I also had something today. It was just a Venus day. It also had to do with art, and I began to put my paintings on my altars. And I didn't even put my altar, but I thought that I might put like a Deneb Algedy symbol too next to Venus, because to sort of like protect from schemes or to make sure the tradings are fair. And I got another email today. I didn't post anything on Instagram, but I got another email today of someone who has seen just my face, my photo, and she said she wants to bring it to an artist and they want to do like an artwork based on like a painting of me, and they would pay me, $100 or something. And I'm like, sure, fine, why not? And as we progressed, she was wanted she had another offer for $500, and it doesn't seem right. Like I just had a photo on Instagram, and that somebody wanted to paint and to pay me $500. It's like something didn't seem right, and so I was like, listen, I take royalties according to international law about royalties. And then she was like, okay, but you gotta agree to have 70% fee for referral. And I'm like, no, darling, it's gonna be 10% fee, and I'm all right with that. If you want the amount in cash that you get right now from 70%, it's not a problem for me, but you're gonna have to make it a 10%. So you're gonna have to raise my fee up to such that your referral is 10%. And then she wanted me to give her my email. And I was like, well, listen, you can put 50-50, you can put 50% in my bank account, but I'm going to have to see your bank account. Give me the bank account that you're delivering the money from, so that I can see whose delivery is that. And when I see it in my account, I'm going to give you the approval to do the painting, and then you give me the next 50% when it's done, which is fair. It's fair. This is fair trade. So I was putting the fair trade option, and she was like quavering, and I'm like, listen, I just need you to see. I'm not going to give you my bank account. She wanted my bank details. I was like, I'm not going to give you my bank details if you're not going to give me bank details of yours that I can run a check on. Because, because I was like, oh, the .com is the wild, wild west. And she was like, well, no, I can't do it. Sorry. Like, my client can't do it. Sorry. And I'm like, okay, God bless. Um, but I found it very interesting that this happened on the Venus day when I had a Venus profected year. Um, and so art and trade in art or being a model or anything to do with Venusian things or trade in Venusian things is kind of getting a rise. And my choice to put kind of Denim Algady author when I do my Venus. I got the idea from Sphere and Sundry because they sell a Venus, an Exalted Venus series, which is like great energy. They have amazing energy. Um, so they said, well, if you want to invoke, let's say, Venus, then you might want to invoke Deneb Algadi because Venus can tend to attract unwanted attention. And being a Venus in Taurus opposition in Pluto and Saturn, like opposition in Pluto mainly, I get what I can get how that can happen. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna work with Deneb Algadi when I work with Venus. So even just lighting, the invocation on the altar on a Friday, and that can kind of get you to diplomatically see through to schemes because there are a lot of schemes. So right now, the topics that have been coming up have to do with art, and I know I've been manifesting getting money from my creation, from my art. Um, so the way I see it, sometimes you would get the fake things first, and then you would get the real thing. Like I had, like I don't know why I don't want to talk like publicly, but I had like a funny occasion to do with the Instagram scams, and then was like you would not expect to get any DM from someone with the blue V. That's not your colleague in astrology or something. You would not expect to get any one of these DMs, so you knew that, and then there was circumstances or a situation where I did get one, and it was actually the person, and it was a beautiful encounter of like the people in the social circle, and it's also very Venusian. They had very Venusian qualities. To them, it did not happen around Venus Day. It actually had to do with invoking Sirius, and I got the moon on Sirius. Um, in my fifth house, um, but it is a Venus perfected year, and it has to do with arts, with music, with all these things. So you can get a situation where you're trying to provoke the planet, or you're trying to do something with the planet, and you're going to get around also the schemes and also be informed about what's going on. When I was in my Mars here, it had to do with real estate. So I have the ruler of my fourth and seventh in the second house, and the second house is our skill set, it's our values, and this is also our ownership. So while I have Lilith there and I have Orpheus there, so it also has to do with music, with sensuality, raw sexuality, the right to individual right to be sexual without that having anything to do with procreation necessarily. All kind of those raw things, creation, initiation, innovation, and Mercury, ruling the fourth house, is also about real estate. So owning land, owning real estate, learning about real estate, and I've learned this through, there was like the last eclipse was, I think on my Chiron, and then I became homeless, and I was 6 months in between houses, and the first things I seen was like a lot of things. I got informed about a lot of things, and I also visited my fatherland. I visited Netherlands. Um, where they have a huge chronicle housing crisis because it's a small country and they don't build, they don't want to ruin nature, and they're all and all the usual, crimes and black markets of just happen in big time because it is a small, you don't have a lot of apartments to offer, so of course you're going to have a black market. and of course you're going to have organized crime. So I got informed, and then when I did find my place, I was relatively very satisfied with where I am now. I do not own a house, I do not own a land, but I am in a place where I'm very joyous and I'm very thankful. And I also renewed contact with certain members of my family that I thought, wow, I've worked for decades to try to resolve things around this. So it was Chiron at the home. And now with Venus, it's like I've manifested for a while to make a living from being creative. But and those things come about. So when those things come about, I don't see it as, oh damn, why does this thing happen to me? It's like I'm getting informed. I'm getting informed. I'm getting informed about schemes on social media. Informed about me needed an agent. I even found realized that that there are some managers and artist managers that do work with people who have CPTSD, and I found it through a person that I admire. So it was like, oh, okay, then that happens, um, and you kind of get informed about what the practicality of what you actually need to make a good living, or to be protected when you trade your art, basically, or your face as an art or as a muse. Um, and Venus also rules Libra, and Libra is a lot about relations and fairness in relations. And I get the feel that it's a lot about sex work industry as well, or being sugar daddy, sugar maybe whatnot industry as well, because it can see trade in relations. So like this year, I found out that OnlyFans was an MLM scheme, and that's something that like it had the promise of granting the people who do sexual content and content creators the ownership over their income or some control over their income. The promise is just not as easy. It's just getting lost in the market, and that's not actually happening. Um, so that was something that if in the past or if in my previous Venus ignited years, I was like, oh, okay, there are people who do these works that I might not want to do, but there are people who do these works and this is their job and so on and so forth. And then you have OnlyFans creators. So this year it's like, no, this is an MLM. This is, you can see the schemes that are going on. You get at the truth. I get Venus opposition in Pluto. It's a lot about getting at the truth of those things, and then sifting and sorting and finding your power and taking your power back, so that you can eventually uh, trade and receive good funding for your art or for your creation, or be creative, and not get scammed around, not get scammed on your royalties if you're in any part of the art. Even if you're being amused for the art, you deserve royalties for your creation. Whatever you do deserve royalties. So it's something that kind of came up. And again, I didn't ask for anything in particular. This time I did ask for something. I did ask to draw something. But in the beginning, when I did Invocation, I didn't ask for anything in particular. It was just offering the planet or establishing creation relation with the planet, and calling the frequencies that you do like to call. So, for example, I was surprised that Mercury is listed when I looked at Christopher Warnock's invocation petitions for Mercury. You see the word trustworthy. Mercury, trustworthy. So this trustworthy, cunning, and so on and so forth. But it's like this is not a word you would expect, but it also is the kind of word that you would expect with Mercury, because Mercury is getting informed. The high frequency of Mercury is getting informed. This is not a Mercury day, but never mind. It's getting informed about the underworld and about all worlds and the dark and the light side, so that you can be informed and act in favor of the light. That's the objective that you have. You want to know the tricks, and you want to be able to do trickery because you're dealing tricksters. You're being a trickster is in favor of something that is in favor of humanity. It's serving, it's in context. Um, and so with Venus, it is about the win-win connection. It's the give-give relations. And if you have, like me, if you have a Pluto natally associated with that, then of course you're going to talk about this. And now Venus, for me, it's in the sixth house, so it's in Leo. Getting informed about what it actually means. What do I actually need when I come to make profit or work at being creative? Both in terms of respect for my schedule, for my recovery, for labor, and for the credit for my creation. If somebody offers you 70% referral for your photo and somebody else, this shouldn't be anywhere. Even 10% is a lot. It should be like 5%. And also, it depends, just like in real estate, you're supposed to, let's say you want to rent a house, the person who has the house needs to pay the money because it's their property. And usually it's not so. Usually the people who come to rent do pay for the makler, for the real estate agent. And then you just have to kind of deal with that. It's just like, okay, it's the safest amongst many crooked schemes in the real estate world. And then you just cope with that. But and with referrals and with mediators, their job is important, but they should not take more than 10%. Just like your agent should not take more than 10%. This is your creation. It is your value that you add, and you should not be deprived of that. And I know that this is not reality currently, but also people have the ability to have a studio album at home. Um, we have the ability to produce a book at home. We have the ability to do, vlogs like this, to paint or whatnot. And marketing should not take more than 10%. Should not. It shouldn't be. Like, get the better price, but you should not be scammed um, for your creativity or for your creation. It is best to post something on Instagram or post something to YouTube or post, a music video of yours on a certain channel and not pay these companies then to succumb to give up your royalties, because your royalties is something that is long lived. Just like in a business, you don't want to promise people that buy your first course that they will have all the updates for the rest of the courses. No, 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 this is your art, it's your creation, and you have the ownership and you deserve to have the royalties. If you create something now, it is a property. It is a property, and it came to you, and it has a particular price, and you can't, there are relations. We are all channeling when we're doing art. There are relations that we have to respect. When I was doing channeled readings, I had to charge, like $300. Right now, I can do, if I'm not channeling, I can do, $50 readings. Because I know it's the beginning, and I want people to be exposed to that. And, if I can allow myself to do that, that's okay. But when I channel, no, 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 it has a price. There are energies that are working with me. It was given to me for a certain reason. And I can't play with that. I have to respect that. I have to respect that. And that's another, Venus is also value. It's respecting your value. And this can be a very triggering word because there has been a lot of shaming of people who, for example, just explore their sexuality in ways that are not, a monogamous relationship, or whatnot. And that's nothing to do with self-respect. Self-respect is about knowing your value and respecting, demanding that you are respected. You're not going to be robbed of your rights to your creation and tricked or swindled. If their royalties exist for a reason, royalties exist because the property keeps being profitable. And you're a part of that profit, and you should not be deprived of your rights there. So, this is so far my experience with invoking Venus. I do like the addition of Denabalgadi there. I think it's needed. I did notice that these days tend to be more amiable, more sociable. Yeah, and sometimes that they can this year, this Venus perfection can trigger things that are being informed. So that is where it is so far. For me, it is also political because it oppositions Pluto, and Pluto is very political. And so I get a lot of politics. Like I find myself writing things to do with politics and all these things. And I was like, okay, this is a wave, this is the phase, and I'm not resisting that. With Pluto, it's very important. Don't resist that. The outers, Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, do not resist. Work with the energy. It's like a wave. You let the wave take you back to the shore. If you go with the wave, it's going to take you back to the shore because there's something there that you're meant to see, that's something there that you're meant to be informed of. And you need to be informed, you need to see that. And when you let go, then there is a point where you can take your power back. When Pluto, for example, turns retrograde, it is a point where you can take your power back. It's a signal that you need to reflect on how much power you have given. When Pluto is direct, sometimes it's about taking your power or exerting power or giving power. Thank you. And then, when there's a retrograde, then it's like, for me, the minute Pluto turned retrograde, I had to take my power back when I was doing 6 months channeling. Because I was exploring that tool. I was channeling everything. I was not moving my body without channeling. This is exerting extreme power to these channeled practices. And then Pluto turned retrograde, so I've learned what I had to learn by being with Pluto, by giving the power, and then Pluto turned retrograde, and it was a signal for me that now it's time to take my power back. Now it's time to reassess. What have I learned? How much is good for me? And how do I reintegrate channels? Pluto's going to do its direct. Right now I'm also learning channeling. How do I, work with the power and not giving myself to the power or exerting power in a way that the people become powerless? So that's a Pluto work. Anything more for that? Venus. Yeah, I mean, right now Venus she's about to enter Virgo very soon. She's leaving her opposition with Saturn. She's trining the moon as I was filming, trining or sextile, I'm not sure. Um, yeah, trining probably. So that's where she at right now. She will be opposition in Neptune, and when that happens, know that it's a lot about exaggerated romanticism. It's a good time to run away, to take a bath, to self pleasure, to indulge spirit. Not a good time to do anything that Venusian that you would want material, practical results, or what you would want to get informed, or not the time to get start a long-term relationship, or because you will be projecting. You will learn about what you project, so you will learn about the essence of your romanticism, the essence of your erotic needs or Venusian needs. But it's not, in itself, it is not timing to actually start a business commitment or a relationship or romantic relationship or whatnot. But this is for, when Venus will be in Virgo. Way, way in Virgo, in the end of Virgo. So I'll see you in my next video. Have a beautiful day. And I don't know why I had a lot of dark chocolate craving. It's good for the heart. It's filled with magnesium. but that's just, maybe it's Jupiter. I don't know. Have a great day. Oh, and you can find me on Twitter, Stally Shear, Shirley Youngblood on Instagram. $50 for a reading. So that is probably one of the best deals you could get on readings, and I do this just because I'm recovering from CPTSD, and my schedule is very flexible. So the fee that I don't charge is the fee that you need to pay to consider me and my schedule. But other than that, the readings are professional. It's not because of quality of the readings. It's just because of my needing extra time and not being able to be structured into any regime right now, especially not with Uranus in my third house. And that's why it's so cheap. So $50 for a reading. Do come up with the topic that you want to ask. It's usually something to do with your perfection anyway, but I'm going to mention your perfected year. And you can DM me on Instagram or on Twitter. Have a lovely day. Bye bye. How do I end this? How do I end this? What's going on? Why can't I wonder if I can share a screen. I don't think you can share a screen here. Do you have share a screen? Mute microphone, save highlight. What is share? No, it's sharing the video itself. No. Too bad, because I wanted to do stuff, but I need to share the screen. Okay, how do I? It's just like this. Yeah.